Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about Efreet 32 in the Endless Cloister. I'm going to give you some tips to beat him on lower stages and hard stages. This is a hard stage, the highest I was able to beat using not that team, but it's working. Instead of that guy, I was using Mamouk. Even if you are on low stages, I recommend to use Mamouk because he's just going to be the best hero to use in there. First of all, he's going to taunt and immortal himself. So the boss has two different skills, the basic attack and the ultimate. The ultimate is an AoE attack, so you are gonna need to have damage immunity of Nordak. Normally you should have a Nordak because this is the first mythic hero I recommend to pick, the best one all the time, every content you can have in your account. Then Mamouk can tank all the basic attacks of the boss because they are single target. So he will tank every basic attack and your team just have to concentrate on using the ultimate of Nordak right before the boss uses his ultimate. If you are doing that, normally you are safe. But you are gonna need another stuff in order to have the ultimate of Nordak in time. Lydia exclusive 2 because she can reduce the cooldowns on your heroes. Nordak has 4 turns of cooldown on the ultimate and the boss has 3 turns of cooldown. And also he has a huge amount of speed at the beginning of the fight. 4160 amount of speed on the difficulty 32. Okay, that's a huge amount. My Nordak, if I show him to you, 2700, but when he has the speed buff given by Mamouk, he reaches a bit more speed than the boss, and so it helps to have the cooldown in time. And then another hero that is going to be mandatory if you want to push higher stages, Esther, for 2 reasons. If you check the skills of the boss, he is immune to dot damage, so you can't use your Little Jack or other daughters, and you are forced to use your direct damage dealers. This is why I'm using Jingle Belle. This is by far the highest direct damage dealer in the game. You can replace her on lower stages by a Melchior, for example. It's gonna work, but I don't recommend to try using a Melchior to clear high stages. Don't try that, it will never work. Jingle Belle is by far the highest damage dealer in the game in terms of direct damage. So I was saying Esther is mandatory for 2 reasons. The first one, if you can't apply a defense down on the boss at the end of his turn, he's gonna get some defense increase. Over time, he's gonna have a huge amount of defense. And same comment for the attack. He's gonna have a huge amount of attack if you can't reduce the attack of the boss. But here, don't worry, because if you can cycle the ultimate of Nordak, then you are safe. You don't need to lower the attack of the boss. Esther can increase the piercing rate of your highest attacker in your team, and so the piercing rate ignore the defense of the boss. Using that and the shield smash aura on your highest attacker in the team, you are gonna ignore a huge part of the defense of the boss. And that way you are gonna deal a lot of damage during the entire run. This is why Esther is great for that reason. And the second reason is that she can reduce the skills of your damage dealer, and so you are gonna be able to use the skill with the highest amount of damage more often. And in fact, there is also a third reason. It might happen that during the fight you don't have the ultimate of Nordak before the boss uses the ultimate. In that case, all your heroes instead of Mamouk will die. Okay? And in that case, if you have the yellow egg given by Esther, all your heroes are going to be revived. Mamouk is still gonna be alive, so he's gonna tank the single target attacks from the boss while you are gonna recover with your other heroes, and so you are not gonna fail. And this is why Esther is another mandatory hero in there. You can replace Mamouk if you want to push a bit higher stages by Jack and Roll, but this is gonna be a bit harder because you are gonna have to manual almost the entire fight, otherwise you might wipe. You might lose because you are not gonna have the cooldowns all the time on your Nordak, and you are gonna have to tank the single target attacks from the boss. So you want to make sure that you have the damage immunity all the time on your heroes, and so sometimes you're gonna have to use the spotlight on Nordak to have more turns and to recover the ultimate in time. And using that, you are gonna deal even more damage with your direct damage dealer, and so you are gonna kill the boss faster. This is why I'm saying that using that team you can push maybe the difficulty 33 or 34. But with the other, the highest I was able to beat was the stage 32. That is a matter of stats, auras, and echoes. So the other solution, if you want to push lower stages, you can replace her if you don't have her by a Melchior. If you check the skills of Melchior, that one, you want to use 10 times that one first. So you want to manual the fight at the beginning and then set the priority on that skill because it has a high amount of piercing rate. Using 10 times that skill at the beginning, if you have a look to the exclusive one on the passive, he's gonna have 5 times 8% more attack during the entire fight. So this is really interesting to do that. So he's gonna deal more damage. Okay, so imagine replacing her by that guy. Don't try that on a higher difficulty. The damage, there is no match, okay, between the damage of Melchior and Jingle Belle. You can check. You can check by yourself. You will never have the same damage. There is no hero that can reach the score of Jingle Belle in the game in terms of direct damage. That's pretty sad, but that's the truth, okay? So you can replace Mamuk. Still interesting to have him, okay? If you don't have Lydia, it's gonna be hard. But if you don't have Lydia, you can try to use Catherine. If you are on lower stages, I mean. Using Catherine with the counter attack, she can apply feebleness too, and you are gonna deal more direct damage, right? And you can use also Ben Austin to lower the defense of the boss, using the basic attack on the counter attack. So if you are using that, you are going to apply the attack down on the boss every turn and the defense down on the boss every turn almost. If you are going to need some high effect hit on them, then you are not going to use Esther and you are going to use your Melchior, something like that. It might work. If you have Lydia, of course, use Lydia in the team. It's your best way to increase your damage. I would recommend to use Lydia there if you have a Melchior because he has a high piercing rate, so you don't really need to have the defense down, okay? So maybe you can use that instead. So you are gonna have the shield, the counter attack, and you are gonna deal more damage. It can work, okay? Maybe with that team you are gonna be able to clear the difficulty 27, 28 maximum, something like that. But it's still interesting to try to use that. I'm not going to show that in the video. If you want to try that on your account, it's up to you. I'm going to show directly the stage 32 using that team. Let's go. So this is really important to have Esther with a high speed. Otherwise, this is what is going to happen. Nordak got one shot. So you want her to play right before the boss. As you can see, I'm lacking just a bit of speed, and then you want to use the skill on Nordak to apply on him a shield, and so he's gonna survive on the first turn. So that time I changed my speed gear on my Esther and she should be able to play before the boss on the first turn. So yes, it's just enough. She has 2940 speed with the gear and this is just enough. So I'm gonna use that skill on Nordak to give him an extra shield and so he's gonna be able to survive. I'm also gonna use the yellow egg. So after you are gonna see he's gonna proc the shield. No shield anymore, so she's not in egg form anymore. She's gonna have to transform again. She will get an extra turn, and so she's gonna lose the damage immunity from Nordak, okay? This is why it's important to use the yellow egg on the first turn, because she has, when she is in egg form, she has only 50% chance to nullify the damage inflicted by the boss. So if it doesn't proc, she's gonna die, and so if you have used the yellow egg before, she's gonna revive. So now you can run the fight in auto and it should work. Just have to wait a lot of time, and as you can see, she wasn't able to nullify the damage and so she revived thanks to the yellow egg. This is why also you need the exclusive 3 on her, otherwise it's not gonna work. As you can see, now the boss used the ultimate and I have the taunt and immortal on Mamuk, so he's gonna aggro the boss and tank all the basic attacks. And now the goal, it's not over yet. You want to check if you have the ultimate of Nordak in time right before the boss uses the ultimate. If you have the damage immunity, you can use it and you are going to be safe before every ultimate of the boss. If you don't have the cooldown, make sure that you have the yellow egg on every hero in the team and so you are going to get revived. The damage of Jingle Belle are gonna get higher over time. And so you are gonna be able to kill the boss faster up during the fight. So don't worry about the turn limitation. Normally it should be okay. It depends on your stats though. I can still increase the power of my team because if you check my aura on Esther, it's a skill master, only 2 stars, so I'm lacking 9% of damage increase on my heroes, so it can be a bit better. And I can also increase the stars on my echoes, etc. I still have a lot of ways to increase the damage of my team. Almost 50% HP remaining on the boss and half the turns. So don't worry about that because the first turns your Jingle Belle didn't have her highest amount of damage. She increases her damage over time and so now it's gonna be faster than at the beginning. As you just saw, my Lydia died and thanks to the yellow egg of Esther, she got revived. This is why she is really important just in case one of your heroes does not have the damage immunity anymore. Okay, 3 of my heroes died and they got revived thanks to the yellow egg. Normally it should still be doable. Let's just use the first active skill with Nordak that time, otherwise it's gonna wipe. I need that skill on the next turn. So I'm just gonna do that. So she's gonna have her cooldowns, use that skill because this is the highest, the biggest one to deal damage. Okay, and that time I'm gonna use the ultimate. And that should be okay to continue. So, as you can see, I'm close to beat the boss. I think that it's gonna take 290 turns in total, stage 32. I'm not gonna complete the fight because before ending the video, I want to try with Jack and Roll instead of Mamouk just to see how many turns do I need to kill the boss on the same difficulty, just to see if I can push higher stages using that team. Let's do it. Okay, there we go. I think that I can use directly the auto mode with that team because just in case my Nordak should die, my Jack and Roll is gonna proc the damage immunity on him. And it was intended, damage immunity, so my Nordak is not dead, and now he's gonna proc the ultimate. Okay, so I can tank the first attack. And now I'm gonna have to be careful, otherwise my Jingle Belle is gonna act multiple times during the fight because of the extra turn given by my Jack and Roll, and so she might lose the buffs, the damage immunity, when the boss is gonna have the ultimate, so I have to be careful about that. So every time the boss has the ultimate ready, I'm gonna check if my heroes have their cooldowns, because Nordak, it's really important, and he has just been killed by the boss and now he has no turn meter at all. He will play after the boss, so I'm forced to use the spotlight on him, so he's gonna be able to apply the damage immunity. This is why that team is a bit harder to play than the other, but normally in terms of damage you are gonna kill the boss faster. You just have to be careful to the skills and the turns you are taking with your heroes. By the way, I don't know the reason, but the boss is always targeting the hero in that position. If one of your hero dies in your team, then for no reason he's gonna change the focus, he's gonna start attacking another hero in your team, but normally at the beginning, for many turns, he will always target the hero placed in this position. And I don't know why, but apparently it works, so my Nordak has damage immunity all the time, and so I am safe using that. I'm gonna get in trouble, so I have to do things manually again. My Nordak has damage immunity and he has the cooldown ready, so I can use the ultimate, but the problem is that if my Jack and Roll gives too many extra turns to my Jingle Belle, she's gonna lose the damage immunity before the boss uses the ultimate. If I'm not using that skill with my Nordak on that turn, the problem is also that he has the damage immunity for one turn only, and so if I'm not using it, he might one-shot my Nordak with the basic attack and I might lose. But I'm gonna take the risk, I'm gonna use the basic attack instead of the ultimate, and maybe my Jack and Roll is gonna apply the damage immunity on my Nordak, and so he is not gonna die. I'm not sure about that, but I wanted to try. Just in case, I'm gonna use the yellow egg, so he's gonna be revived. Yeah, and he didn't proc the damage immunity again, so he killed my Nordak. He has no buff at all, so that time I'm gonna use the spotlight on Nordak to give him the extra turn and proc the damage immunity on my heroes. Really important, now I can continue the fight in auto. And I fucked up. I fucked up because I used the ultimate of Nordak one turn too early. I run in auto and I gave an extra turn on my Jingle Belle 2 times in a row and she lost the damage immunity, so I have to retry. So be really careful when you are using that team. So 120 turns to inflict 51% HP on the boss. So for now it's 30 turns less than the previous test with Mamouk. So of course it's way faster. And we are gonna check how many turns we need to kill the boss on the difficulty 32. And so it will determine if it is possible or not to beat the higher difficulty after the 33 and the 34 maybe. So I didn't pay attention and I lost my Nordak. Here we are, the boss is almost dead, 7% HP remaining, 205 turns, so I think that I need in total 215 turns, something like that, but there is one issue. I did a mistake right before the end and I'm gonna lose my Nordak and maybe my other heroes. He died, he was just revived by the yellow egg, but he has no turn meter at all and I wasn't able to use the spotlight on him with my Jack and Roll because I used it on the previous turn and on 2 heroes, and so I didn't have the cooldown. I wasn't able to give him an extra turn, and so I don't have the damage immunity on my heroes. They might have the yellow egg, but I'm not sure. Maybe the damage immunity of Jack and Roll is gonna proc on my Nordak. I hope it's gonna be the case, so I might not be able to kill the boss. So just in case, you have to retry, and I did everything manually. It took me a huge amount of time, 12 minutes as you can see, so it's taking forever. But remember that at the end of the day, you need to beat that boss only one time, and then you unlock the higher difficulty, and you can farm on one boss only, then refresh, farm again, refresh, and this is gonna be more optimal. So let's check. He killed my entire team. Okay, so bad. 7% HP and I would have killed him. 206 turns. So it's possible using that team. I'm not gonna retry because I can farm higher stages. I currently unlocked the stage at 36. So I'm currently farming on the 36 and I don't want to waste too much time. I already spent hours trying things against all bosses we have in the cloister to try to find good solutions. So I really do hope that it's gonna help you. I'm gonna show you the smart casting first on my team, and then I'm gonna explain to you, I'm gonna show you the stats of my heroes. So this is my Lydia. You want to prioritize that skill, of course. You are gonna manual your fight with that team, so it doesn't matter with Jack and Roll. If you are using Mamouk, if you want to auto it, you need to use that skill in priority with Jingle Belle because this is the one with the highest amount of damage. Then on Esther, everything is opened. Don't ban that skill or don't put a priority there because if you are using that skill in priority, she will prioritize the first red egg and then she's gonna use the blue egg because the priority is set in that way. That skill first, that one, then, and finally the red egg. So if you are setting the priority number 1 there, she's gonna use the red egg, then the blue egg, and if she has some cooldown reduction of Lydia, she will never use the yellow egg. And if she is untransformed, she's gonna transform again and get her cooldown back for the red egg, and the yellow egg will never proc. So don't let everything open. And Nordak, no smart casting at all, okay? Let me show you my heroes now. 2700 speed on Nordak. The speed only matters, okay? You don't need HP, you don't need other stats. The goal is just gonna be to cycle your ultimate. Nordak is there only for the ultimate, okay? So this is my Jack and Roll. You want to have a huge amount of speed on him and a lot of HP, as much as you can, because if you check the echo, this is going to be really important to grant more attack to your damage dealer. You need to use the spotlight on your damage dealer more often, so every time the next hero who is going to take the turn after Jack and Roll is going to have more attack based on his own max HP. So the more the HP, the higher the attack given to your damage dealer, to your Jingle Belle. This is really important. Skill Master aura on him if you are using him, or Skill Master on Esther because you will never change her, so Skill Master on Esther is really nice. This is my Lydia, 52k attack, a nice amount of speed, and basically you want to use that echo on her so she's gonna grant more damage to your damage dealers. I'm using a combat vanguard on her so she's also gonna increase the damage inflicted to the boss. Here comes my Jingle Belle. She doesn't have the biggest stats in the game, but she has 2 devouring sets increasing her basic attack damage, skill damage by 18% both, and 10% more attack. If you check her attack and crit rate, crit damage, 56k attack, she has only 81% crit rate, but it does not really matter because during the fight, thanks to the divine buffs, she's gonna reach the 100%, and a 318% crit damage. Blessings, I'm trying to increase her crit rate, crit damage, or direct damage, you can use that, or even increase her attack. Aura, a shield smash aura, and that's gonna be mandatory for the extra piercing rate. She's gonna have way more damage thanks to this aura. I'm using this echo, so she has 48% more attack and 12% more direct damage during the fight. If you are lacking some crit rate, you can use the one of Lydia. You can use also her own echo if you have more levels on it. It's gonna be more optimal to use it, but I'm lacking some levels on it, so this is why I'm using the one of Moxie. Here comes my Mamouk. He has 2 first aid set, but in fact it does not matter. You just want to have some speed on him so he can play often and use his taunt, immortal, increase the duration of the buffs, and that's all. I'm using this echo on him, so every time he's gonna apply the attack down on the boss, he's gonna increase the skill damage taken by the boss by 4.5%. It's not a lot, but it's still gonna help you to have more damage. No aura at all, so just in case if you don't have any skill master in your team, maybe you can put one on him, but I recommend to use your skill master aura on Esther. Or if you are lacking some speed on Esther, apply the skill master aura on Mamouk and use a speed aura on Esther so she's gonna play before the boss if you need that. Then finally, this is my Esther. She has a speed set and a first aid set, 2940 speed, and without a speed aura, she is just outspeeding the boss on the stage 32. This is really important to have close to 100% healing effect. During the fight, I had the 100% because thanks to the divine cards, I had a bit more healing effect. The closer you are to 100%, the higher the damage is gonna grant to your damage dealers. So this is really important. So a lot of speed, a lot of healing effect, and that's all you need on her. And I was using a skill master aura 2 stars on her, so with my Mamouk team it was helping me a lot. With my Jack and Roll team it wasn't helping me because I already had a 5-star skill master on Jack and Roll. And I was using that echo on her, so every time she was giving a turn to my Jingle Belle, she was giving her a bit more damage. So that was all for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If it's the case, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Have a nice day and see you in the next one. Bye bye.